follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the third generation of the Land Rover Range Rover Sport, the L461, and this is the diesel. I've done a detailed video of the petrol model. So today we are going to be focusing on what's different in the diesel, which is largely the engine, because in terms of specs and features, this is very much identical to the petrol model. So first I'm going to show you the highlights of a Range Rover Sport by starting with the engine bay, because there it is, the diesel engine. Yes, ingenium. And there's no space here at all. There's insulation here. Of course, it doesn't go any further or what. Obviously, gas struts there. Design is absolutely lovely. I love how things which don't need to be seen are not seen at all. That's the beautiful design of this car. Dynamic swipe indicators would be a cool feature, but it does not have it. Lights are these digital HD matrix lights, and you have these four things inside. Of course, LED DRL. This is obviously for the high beam. Right now it's on low beam, and you get a camera here. You get camera everywhere. This is actually the radar, because it has got some amount of ADAS features as well. Range Rover is actually finished in darkened color, and it has this treatment which is not functional at all. You get headlight washers, parking sensors everywhere, 6 parking sensors at the front, because this car has got self-park as well. Yeah, automatic parking and whatnot. In terms of length, it is almost 5 meters. Wheelbase is almost 3 meters. Wheelbase is the same as the regular Range Rover, the short wheelbase model. The long wheelbase is obviously longer. It's running on 22-inch wheels. It's on access height right now. That's why it's like completely lowered. You can obviously increase the ride height with 4 different settings for the same. Tire size happens to be 285 45 22s, and it says Land Rover right there. Yeah, can you see that? It's not very visible as such. Beautiful looking alloy wheel design, which is a rare thing for a Land Rover car. It actually projects Range Rover here at night from the outside rear view mirrors, where you also get a camera, of course. Door handles pop in and out. Here you can have roof rails which can support up to 100 kgs, and if you notice, beautifully done. Yeah, this very unique thing about the Range Rover Sport. This is the Range Rover Sport, of course, and because it's a diesel, it has an AdBlue tank here separately as well. From the rear, the design isn't that impressive. Firstly, the right tail light is not working, left one is working, of course. Both the fog lights are working there. Everything is LED in this car. Says Range Rover. You know, one of the most unique things about a Range Rover is the hidden wiper. It's somewhere there, which Tata has now copied with the Nexon as well. Why do we have 2 shark fin antennas? That is for the clear side camera. In fact, the camera here does a spray to clean the rear parking camera. That is amazing. 6 parking sensors at the rear. Faisal Khan's fingers of truth hunting for the exhaust, which is right there. Dual exhaust, of course. And let me open the boot. I press a button and there it opens. It's quite big at 835 liters, and the spare wheel is full size as well. Another interesting Range Rover trait with an alloy, of course. You can increase or decrease the ride height from here. So here I'm going to increase it. Yeah, it has got air suspension, which is a very cool thing to have. There it's going all the way up. It actually works with the rear suspension only, because obviously that's what you need to do to increase or decrease the capacity of stuffing in. So it's easier when you lower it, of course. Parcel shelf here, light and all that, which is the usual thing. But if you want to recline the seat now, that's also easy, because you press a button, there it reclines. So you can increase the boot carrying capacity. 60-40 split, of course. Yeah, a lot of electric stuff happening in this car. It has got 19 speaker, 800 something watt audio system from Meridian 3D surround sound system. That's quite nice. And there, yeah, I can keep moving the seat all the way. I just need to just put it back into place. There it happens as well. And then it's a very practical cabin, of course. No speaker placement here, but light and all is there. Power tailgate, which also has this function. If you stand and dance behind, the boot will automatically open. Yeah, dynamic swipe indicators at the rear, a good thing to have. Someone is sitting there. Okay, it's gone all of a sudden. And the surprising part, for a car of this cost, this is actually manual. Yeah, you have to manually use the sun blinds. I am so upset because of this. Nice fabric, not leather. Okay, says Meridian 3D surround, of course. Door pockets are big enough here, and the rear seat experience is decent. It's not that great. And then you can press a button to recline it. They say 37 degrees. Doesn't seem 37 degrees to me at all, because that's not much of a movement. But then everybody gets a head, thankfully. And you also get a center armrest, which does not open properly. Yeah, this gets stuck, so you have to shut it like that. cup holders and all that is there. And the best thing is that you actually get a laptop charging port right there. So yeah, very usable. And then obviously get USB-Cs, so 2 USB-Cs, 12 volt, and a lot of charging options. You get seat heating and ventilation at the rear too, which is quite cool because rear seat passengers also need some pampering. Panoramic roof, which is big enough, and then there's good amount of space here. Yeah, space is good. I would not complain about it. Underside support is decent, not bad, not great either. Headroom is also good enough. AC vents here, so that's kind of nice. And the dashboard looks really lovely, similar to the new Range Rover. Certain changes here and there, of course, but what a premium looking cabin. I really like it. And what I also like is the fact that it gets soft closed door function. So here it pulls it inside smoothly and softly. That also happens. Now if you notice, it looks kind of weird with the car raised from this side because of the S suspension, of course, but it's an amazing looking car and it drives really well. In fact, the fog lights are so lower down now, you don't even notice them. This is where the fog light is. Why is it so low? Well, because they can or they want to do it, they do it. And you've got multiple cameras there for the lane keep assist, yeah, adaptive cruise control and whatnot, rain sensors. Wipers are hidden. You know what? The spray the wipers do is of hot water so that the windscreen actually gets cleaned very nicely. That's superb. This seat is adjustable in 22 ways. Standard is 20. You pay more money, you get 22. I press a button here. Notice the steering wheel will move. The seats are so comfortable. They're so wide. In fact, it's got active noise cancellation as well. Now this will move and this will come out. Underside support is never an issue. In a Range Rover, because it has been made for Americans, most of the sales come from the US, which we'll talk when we're driving this car. Come on now, you need to move. It's a bit, no, it's already done it over. It's so fast and reactive now. That's kind of crazy. Active noise cancellation is somewhere here, and then you get an armrest, which is not the easiest to adjust because you have to rotate it like this if you want to keep it a little up. It's making some sound because the key is not inside. Beautiful looking dashboard. I particularly like this color. Yeah, it's actually very cool. And then you've got some touch controls which are not very good to use, honestly. Door pockets are big enough. This is the key of the car, same as other Land Rover models. I'm not going to dwell into it. You can adjust the steering wheel like this. Yeah, steering wheel is obviously electrically adjustable, and then you've got plenty of screen, so you can get an 11.4 inch rear seat entertainment screen here as well. And because this is a Range Rover, it's all about access. Firstly, there are two sun visors. Yeah, two sun visors so that you can block the sun and all the jealous people out from this vehicle. And then also you get a mirror and light. Clear side camera, which is a super cool feature that every other brand is now copying it. And then soft closed door function, no need to pull it, it goes inside very smoothly. No height adjustable seat belts, but you get a handle to hold on to because of body roll being a real thing in this car. And then you've got twin glove boxes, one below. Look at the lining, beautifully done. You can see ambient lighting as well. And there's one on the top as well with the first aid kit, and there it shuts so smoothly. It doesn't really shut. You have to give it a nice push to actually shut it as well. Here you will not find USB-C charging ports, but they are actually hidden, USB-C and USB-A. So that's a bit of a bummer. You have to actually hunt for it. I'm finding it after driving it for almost 500 kilometers. And here you get a cool box as well, with two fan speeds for cooling it along with ambient lighting too. The best thing about this car is that it has got seat heating, seat ventilation and massage function. But how do you adjust the seat in 22 ways using just this? Well, you don't. You just press it like this. There's a setting which says adjust, and when you press it, there you have the option of actually moving stuff around. So here it's already out honestly, so you can move it in 22 ways. There's seat massage, which has got 5 settings. So when I turn it on, I can decide the intensity by 5, and then I can decide different types of massage as well. So they're actually 10, I think. So no, you can choose 4 types of massage in 5 directions. So that's also kind of cool. Let me get out of this. This is a 13.1 inch PV Pro system screen, that is, and it's very nice. It's curved, beautiful graphics. We're raising the car. There's a heads up display there. So yeah, it's loaded with a lot of features, but these are touch controls which are not very intuitive to use. 13.7 inch screen right here, which you can browse quite easily. So it depends on what the setting is, and then the arrows and the things change right here. So I get into the info panel, and there is the map, and then I can change a lot of stuff from the audio system to the trip summary, and also shows you how the differential is working in this vehicle, driver assistance system. All that is given, and I can change the layout as well, which I'll do while driving the horn. It's decent. This is the cruise control. Okay, I can feel the chill because the massage has actually started, so it should not be a chill, but we'll turn off the massage right now. Okay, just go back and turn it off. There, it's turned off. So both the front seats get the massage function, of course, and gear levers nice to hold. But this is very much like a fingerprint magnet, and this is for the auto terrain response system. Otherwise, I can browse through this and decide how I want the system to be. Here I'm actually moving. It's a little slow to operate, and there you see there's some red thing which has come because I've chosen the dynamic program, of course. Let me get out of this menu. Okay, air conditioning controls are very nice. Here I can adjust the temperature. I push it inside, I can adjust seat heating and seat ventilation. So very nicely done. And if I pull it outside, there I can adjust the fan speed as well. Yeah, they have really done a great job to not have more buttons, while making sure that all these things work. So you're just going to shut it at the moment. But the wireless charging, okay, shut, I am trying to shut you. Yeah, wireless charging pad is actually, what is wrong with this? Okay, I have to get into the center. It's my mistake there.
Patience.
Wireless charging pad is placed right here. Weird position to have it. Honestly, a little bit of heating for the screen as well. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, both of them obviously work wirelessly. Vehicle dimensions is given here just in case you want to measure what is the height of your car. You can do that as well. I think I've turned on the air conditioning. So let me just shut this. Now it is shut. It's a very nice screen, that lovely screen, very fast to operate. You've got plenty of information as well. So obviously here I'm just going to get into the menu. You can browse through stuff here. This is for self park. This is for the parking cameras. And if I want to put a spray there, I can clean the camera as well. So that is also there. 3D view is just phenomenal, but you have to actually press it like this. The car color and the actual color do not match. It's a bit slow, but yes, you have got a beautiful camera system, which is absolutely phenomenal to use. In fact, I'll get into reverse and you can see the reverse camera. It has got adaptive guidelines and you've got multiple views for it. And then you also have an transparent bonnet sort of a thing happening here. So you can see what's below the bonnet. Okay, why is it showing me this particular display? On-road view, 3D view, 2D view, off-road view. So you can change a lot of these parameters here. Valet mode, low traction launch, whatnot. Cabin lighting has got 78 freaking colors. Yeah, so you can choose some colors and then you can obviously customize the colors and then you can change colors wherever you feel like. That's also a very cool thing to have in this car. So yeah, it's loaded. Let's get into park actually. Again, let me get into the off-road camera view. There's some setting to actually change it. This is the setting actually. And then obviously when you move around and with AI, it's able to generate that camera view. So that's kind of cool. And you've got side cameras and whatnot. It's a beautiful looking screen. It's really very nice. And then it's a fingerprint magnet. Of course, all screens are usually a fingerprint magnet. You've got inbuilt navigation as well, which is absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, that's nice. Overall quality of the materials are actually quite good. I love this color of leather. I mean, obviously this is sort of maroonish, which really suits this car. If you get paddle shifters, you got so many things, like so many buttons here and there, and it doesn't feel excess because like they've managed to hide some of the buttons here and there. That's kind of cool, of course. So let me just get into the screen because there's so much. You can also get into air quality, which shows you what is the air quality inside, and it has a PM 2.5 air filter. It's saying it is very good right now because you're not in Delhi, so it's not somewhere here. So you've got all this as well. Nice amount of features in this car. Beautiful ambient light colors, really very impressive. The only thing is that lock and unlock is placed so lower down. It's not very intuitive to use. And then I love this quality of gunmetal finishing on the door handles as well. So you're just going to turn off the car. Where is the button? It is right there. There it does this whole thing. Says Land Rover. If you notice, there's so many fingerprints on the screen right now. Says Land Rover there as well on the heads-up display. Car is really nice and comfortable. I think I've increased the ride height to the maximum. Now you can see it's completely raised. It looks really crazy with the raised ride height because it's very capable off the road as well. There you can see the suspension. Now let's open the sunroof by pressing this button, and there it opens. If you notice, the fast tag is placed inappropriately there. That's kind of a weird position to have a fast tag. And there opens the sunroof, which is quite big and brings in a lot of airy feeling. Firstly, the quality of the cabin is just phenomenal. That's the maximum it opens, brings in a lot of airy feeling. This is obviously the wind deflector right there. I think it's got 8 freaking airbags, probably even more, but it's a diesel engine car, so it really impresses me that it does this chime sound as well. And that's the reason we are going to drive it right now to see how is it to drive, because a diesel is a freaking diesel. Alright, we are all set to go, which means first things first, I am actually going to put the inclinometer here. Before that, I have to actually turn off traction control. So first things first, auto terrain response system off. We get into dynamic mode and it's going to get some sort of a red light here. Yeah, there it is. Okay, stability control off. It makes this sound when I do that. And I'm going to actually turn on the slope assist thing, so it tells me how much is the angle here and there. Clear side camera on. We get into drive mode, press it again, get into sport mode, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, hazard lights off, and launch control activated. performance is actually very brisk. Yeah, quite impressive for a car of this weight. And then you can see a lot of body roll. So this is the diesel, which is actually the D350. It's the most powerful tune of the diesel engine, because I think they have a D250 and D300 as well. Thankfully, we've got the most powerful tune of the diesel engine in India, both for the Range Rover Sport as well as the Range Rover. And in spite of the weight of this car, it is quite brisk in terms of performance. Now you can't see much here in terms of angles. Yeah, there it is going -1 and all that. But let's actually turn on the camera, because that's so fantastic. Here is the side view, which looks quite cool. Camera systems in this car, absolutely phenomenal. So this D350 diesel engine is quite punchy in terms of performance. Turbo lag is well contained, has a phenomenal mid-range punch, and really pulls hard and strong. Only thing is the gearbox is a bit slow to respond, but then in sport mode it's better, and then you've got paddle shifters as well. So here manual mode has been activated, which gives you control of things. I love the sound. Yeah, it sounds so nice. It doesn't have the diesel clatter, kind of sounds sporty here, so that's something to look out for. And then look at this view as well. It will not upshift unless and until I decide to do so. That's also a very nice thing. Around the corners there is obviously quite a lot of body roll because of the heavy weight, so it's not really sporty, but it's much sportier when compared to the regular Range Rover, because it is 35% stiffer when compared to the regular full-size Range Rover, and it is 20 mm lower as well. So you sit 20 mm lower, but you still get the full Range Rover view right here. Making a quick overtake, making maneuvers like this, no problem at all, because it has a fantastic steering wheel, which is very responsive. Yeah, the steering is absolutely phenomenal in the way it responds. So feel and feedback is just amazing, and redline comes in at almost 5000 RPM. They're using the paddles and make a shift. So this ZF source gearbox is slow. They have 12 powertrain options globally. So basically similar engines with a lot of other variations. So mild hybrid is there, plug-in hybrid is there, and then obviously we have got the full fat 4.4 liter V8 engine from BMW, which is phenomenal in terms of performance. I'm just actually going to come into automatic mode because it holds on to a gear now. So let it shift on its own. But yes, performance is really very nice, because this engine produces 345 horsepower. Even though it's known as the D350, it doesn't really make 350 horsepower. It makes 345.9 something, so 346 horsepower. They should call it the D346 or D345.94321. Jokes aside, 700 Newton meters of torque. So this 345 horsepower comes in at 4000 RPM, and the torque output of 700 Newton meters comes in at 1500 RPM, stays there till 3000 RPM. So nice torque band, which actually is the reason why it has a nice low end, has a phenomenal mid-range, feels nice in the top end as well. What a phenomenal diesel engine. I'm going to miss this diesel engine once they go electric, because next year there's going to come an EV version of this car, electric version of the Range Rover Sport as well as the Range Rover, which is something I'm not really looking forward to. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour comes up in 5.9 seconds. Compared to the 3-liter petrol engine, now both of them are obviously inline 6-8-6 engine. This one is having 50 horsepower less, because that's 400 horsepower, but this one has 150 Newton meters more torque. So that is 550 Newton meters, this is 700 Newton meters. Yeah, it comes through the bumps because of the big fat wheels. So lower wheels, like 20 inches also you can get. 20, 21, 22, 23 are the 4 wheel size options. Standard is I think 20, 21 depending on the variant. You can get 23s as well if you're going to drive it on the track, because otherwise it's really bad for our roads for sure. And then this car is obviously very capable off the road. I am driving quite fast, and that Audi Q7 just overtook me, because that's also a diesel 45 TDI. Oh god, I miss Audi diesels, because a diesel is a diesel is a diesel, and there it's also very soft, so bouncing across like that. Oh my god, I love the performance. Yeah, the way the engine pulls is so... Can you hear the sound of the engine? It's quite smooth and nice. I love the engine sound. So when I was driving this since the past 3-4 days, whenever I go on the throttle, I am just baffled by the linear pull of this motor and the sound. Like, now obviously I have to slow down, otherwise we'll be doing insane speeds. Top speed is 234 kilometers per hour, which is quite fast. The petrol is almost half a second faster when compared to the diesel, because of more power, 50 horsepower more. Yeah, it probably would be lighter as well. The weight is quite a lot. This car weighs around 2400 kgs. The weight has increased by around 150 kgs. Okay, a lot of bumps on the road, so I have to navigate those as well. And then there's this thump and some amount of rattles as well, which is a Land Rover and a Range Rover thing, of course. So okay, accelerator. Oh, beautiful. It's not very fast, but it's definitely very soothing in the way it performs. So like I was telling you, maneuvering this car is very easy and very sure-footed as well, because the steering is quite responsive. Initial ride is a bit on the stiffer side, obviously. Now it has to be on the stiffer side. Okay, let's actually change the camera view. Okay, I'm going to come to the on-road cameras. 3D view is just phenomenal. Look at the car. It looks so nice, and I'm giving an indicator. Is it showing that indicator? Yeah, it is. So that attention to detail really blows your mind. By the way, talking about attention to detail, the seatbelt buckles also light up, and there's some storage space below here with a USB charging socket, a USB-C. So that's kind of hidden. I could not really figure that out. So we are going to be using the wipers. Lot of spray, but it actually comes out from the wiper blade itself. So yeah, amazing attention to detail. Come on. Okay, time for the brake test, and hazard lights on, and yeah, not very sure-footed the braking because we are obviously braking on gravel, and then cannot deny the fact that there's a lot of weight to contend with right here. So first thing, I'm going to actually change the display layout to something which is different. So we'll just make it focused. So this is the one. Why not try something different as well? There's the map view. You can change so many things in this car. So I'm just going to change the camera view. We're going to launch from the rear side like this one. Obviously we are in drive mode, we are in sport mode. Traction control system is off right now. So we are going to get into dynamic launch. Hazards light off, and come on. Yeah. Obviously this is having a four-wheel drive system, so traction levels are absolutely phenomenal because this car obviously without a doubt is just amazing in the way it puts all that power down. Lot of traction, lot of grip, and lot of electronics as well in this vehicle. And I love the cameras. Yeah, it's so phenomenal. It works at high speed. That's the best thing, which I definitely like. And then we can change this view if you want, but I'm so used to this new one now, the clear side camera. Absolutely phenomenal. Only once you're driving past 160 kilometers per hour, that is when rain splashes happen, when you're driving in the rain, that is. But otherwise, what a view. In the rain, you will never ever worry about it. That's the kind of quality of the camera system, just on freaking believable. Yeah, now it has got ADAS function, so there's lane keep assist, there's adaptive cruise control as well. So all those features are obviously available, and the engine is quite smooth and refined. There's no diesel clatter at all. Yeah, obviously when you apply heavy brakes at any speeds, it obviously screeches the tires a bit, so that could be slightly better in the way it manages its weight. But it's heavy. It's actually heavier by 180 kgs, not 150 kgs, because of the hybrid system. So rarely does it happen that a car which goes from one generation to another puts on weight, but this one has definitely put on weight, underpinned by the MLA Flex platform, which by the way is the same as the Range Rover. Even the interior is a bit like the Range Rover, which actually brings me to the fact that the first generation Range Rover Sport, which was unveiled in 2004 based on the Range Stormer concept, something of that sort, which was made by Ford, of course, that was actually underpinned by the Discovery 3's platform. That was not a Range Rover, but then also it sold so well because not everybody could afford the full fat big Range Rover, so they opted for that. Now there are 4 trims available. There's the S, there's the SE, and there is the HSC, and there's the Autobiography. There's actually a 5th trim as well, which I'll talk about quickly. But S stands for standard equipment, SE stands for standard equipment. No, standard, I don't know how they've done it, but HSC stands for high standard equipment. So that is the variant naming they have done. So no, there's no S variant. There's actually the SE, which starts at SE, which is standard equipment. HSC is high standard equipment, and then obviously Autobiography, and then there is the first edition as well. And the range actually starts at rupees 1.98 crores for the base diesel version, goes all the way to 2.22 crores for the top end diesel version. The top end diesel obviously gets all the bells and whistles, but still doesn't get all the bells and whistles because you have to actually pay more for some optional kit. We're going to come to a halt here quickly because it is time to launch again. So left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. You have to really like stand on the brakes big time, and then only dynamic launch gets activated, and off we go, man. Just listen to the sound. It is so freaking soothing. Rear wheel steering is actually optional in this car, and what am I doing? It's picking up speed so freaking fast. Now this is obviously a 3-liter straight 6 diesel engine known as the AJ300D. The 3-liter petrol is also known as the AJ300 without the D, of course. And there's an SV version as well. So I remember driving the blue SVR earlier. My god, what performance. 5-liter supercharged V8 engine. Now obviously they're relying on BMW's 4.4-liter V8 engine, which is a bomb, because that one now produces 635 PS of power, and it goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.6 seconds with a top speed of 290 kilometers per hour, which is absolutely crazy. Now it's very capable off-road because it has got 900 mm of water wading capacity. That's quite a lot. I love the way the heads-up display changes in sport mode, and then I love the fact that it gives you manual control of things. So a lot of good things in this car. Lowest ground clearance is 216 mm with the access height, and goes all the way to 281 mm when you increase the ride height. And then at such bumps at lower speeds, ride is not that good because the suspension and the chassis is obviously on the stiffer side, but still it's not very sporty as such. It's not as dynamic as a BMW X5. Obviously a BMW is a BMW is a BMW, but still it's quite good. Now, obviously, this car is made more for the US market because in US people love big fat SUVs. That's the reason you will see most of the unveils of the Range Rover and Range Rover Sport happen in the US, because that accounts for a majority of the sales. Yeah, most sales actually come from the US. That is an EQC. That guy's going slow to look at the beautiful Range Rover Sport, that is, of course. And like I was telling you, most sales come from the US. Actually, most sales come from New York itself, and turning radius is a bit too much because rear wheel steering is not on this particular car. Get into the throttle. And then we come across a corner and it goes beautifully well there. Obviously, there's a lot of road which you have to contend with, but trust me on this, it kind of feels dynamic and fun. The diesel definitely feels better than the petrol because of the torque rush, and obviously it's slightly more stiffer when compared to the petrol because of the heavy weight of the diesel engine, that is. I love the camera. I keep saying the same thing again and again. It's beautifully done, which actually brings me to the importance of this car. The Range Rover and the Range Rover Sport and the Defender are so important for Land Rover that they account for 78% of Land Rover global sales, which means that 22% sales come from the Discovery 5 and the Discovery Sport and the Range Rover Evoque and the Range Rover Velar. So those cars are not really selling much. It's just the Range Rover and the Range Rover Sport and the Defender which are like the top sellers for this brand. And then obviously Jaguar doesn't sell any car at all comparatively, so JLR are surviving definitely on the Range Rover and the Range Rover Sport, or on Land Rover brand, that is. Meanwhile, okay, I don't know why this thing is not being very reactive as such. I like the horn, and I like the fact that the sound of this motor is so freaking awesome. Now, it obviously rivals the Mercedes GLE, which is much cheaper than this car. So is the BMW X5, which is also its rival. And then you have the Audi Q8, which is getting a facelift soon, and the Porsche Cayenne, which is definitely more dynamic when compared to the Range Rover Sport. But a Range Rover is a Range Rover is a Range Rover. There is no freaking competition. The level of refinement, the level of smoothness, the level of desirability which a Range Rover has, absolutely no other car has it. The Sport is not sporty, it's just a more attractively priced version of the Range Rover. The Range Rover Sport is still extremely expensive because it comes via the CBU route, and then heavy taxation is obviously something which it has to witness when compared to BMW and Mercedes, which are actually locally assembling their cars via the CKD route. I'm just wondering why Tata Motors is not taking that bold step of assembling the Range Rover Sport in India, because come on, we also need these awesome cars at rather attractive price points. Now obviously X5 is also very expensive a car at around 1.3 crores on road Mumbai, but that 1.3 crores is still much cheaper than 2.2 crores for the top end variant of the Range Rover Sport in India. Yeah. And I'm not even talking about the SV or anything of that sort. So guys, this is my vlog of the Land Rover Range Rover Sport. Beautiful car, very expensive. If you have 2.22 crores, I'm sure you have 3.5 crores as well, and use that money to get the full fat Range Rover, because that is what really offers you the ultimate luxury. But personally, if you're planning to drive, both of those cars will suffice. This one is just better to drive when compared to the larger Range Rover, but trust me, the larger Range Rover has a different feel, a towering presence, and then people won't say, "Arey yaar, isne thode paise kam karke Sport le li." He has got the full fat Range Rover, and then the sky is the limit, because the SV Range Rover actually cost almost 5 crores, 4.94 crores on road Mumbai. Cars are getting so freaking expensive that I think there's high time Maruti makes a version of the Espresso with a big fat engine, maybe something with a 4-cylinder engine and maybe turbocharge and whatnot. I'm just kidding, but this is a lovely car which has got discontinued, unfortunately. If you like this vlog, make sure to give the thumbs up. That's a like button. I know you guys are like, "Ek aur baar launch karo." I will do it. I will launch right away, because obviously it's the performance of this car which really blows your mind. It is absolutely phenomenal in the way this car launches, because it kind of squats down from the rear and then brrr, diesel engine making such good sound. I rarely hear that, but then I'm not going to complain. Like 7 drive modes are there, by the way. I forgot to talk about that. Hazard lights on, left foot on the brake, really pressing the brake a lot, and then revving the motor, dynamic launch. Come on, activate. No, not happening. There we go. Oh my god, I had to leave the throttle because it was going all towards the left side. Lot of wheel spin happening somehow because of the gravel, of course. And I forgot to tell you the drive mode. So there are 7 drive modes. There's dynamic mode, there's eco mode, there's comfort mode, and then there are off-road modes like grass, gravel, snow. There's mud ruts and sand as well, and then wading also. And you have a weight sensor here which actually tells you what is the wading like. That is kind of the coolest thing in this car. Let me get into the weight sensor right now. There it is, weight sensing. Isn't that so cool? It only works below 10 kilometers per hour. It's really dark. Thankfully, I can just press the button like that to turn on the lights. Bye-bye.